Zero, copy. A couple of rounds in. I'll get you going here in a moment.
Hi everybody, Timothy here. I greet you all in Jesus Christ's mighty name. It is August 3rd, 2026. We're out on another evening walk and enjoying the weather. It's kind of hot right now though, but I thought that while I was out here that I would talk a little bit about the production of this podcast, because I had somebody ask me a couple of days ago, how do I produce the podcast? What is all involved with that? Individual by the name of Megan asked about that on YouTube, and I thought, well, I replied to her in a comment, but let's kind of break this down piece by piece and make a podcast episode about it, because if she's wondering, well, then there's a strong likelihood that other people wonder about it as well. So here's essentially what's going on. Right now I'm recording on my iPhone, and I'm recording in voice memos. I will take this voice memo recording and I will throw it over to my DAW, my digital audio workstation. Within my digital audio workstation, Hakasai, I will edit the file, and then I will save the file. And once that file is saved, I will then go over to what's called Creators for Spotify, and I will upload that file. Once that file is uploaded, the RSS feed, or Real Simple Syndicate feed, that is powered via the Creators for Spotify service, will take the audio and it will distribute that audio to all of the places that have access to my RSS feed. From there, you will have a new podcast episode. If I'm doing this on my iPad, it's a little bit different. Generally on the iPad, I will record in Hakasai. I don't really record in Hakasai on my phone just because it records in stereo, and I prefer to record in mono. At that point, it's just a personal preference thing. And either way, though, I'll edit in Hakasai, and I will take the recording, again, even if it's done on the iPad, I will take the recording and I will upload that recording to Creators for Spotify. And once uploaded to Creators for Spotify, the same thing happens where the RSS feed, Real Simple Syndicate feed, will update, and there will be the podcast episode for everybody to hear. Now, this podcast is audio only, okay? So there is no video that I'm actually making. If there happens to be video on YouTube or any other service that does have the RSS feed, that is a them thing. Okay, I'm actually recording an audio only. So people ask, well, how in the world do you get your audio to sound so professional? Well, I'm not using any lapel mics or lavalier mics or anything like that. I'm recording on the internal microphone of my iPhone. And or recording on the internal microphone of my iPhone. You know, a lot of people have this idea, and they're wrong, but they have this idea that you have to spend a whole bunch of money when creating a podcast or when recording, rather it be a professional podcast or a professional piece of music. They say, well, you have to have professional equipment. Well, professional equipment is also a matter of opinion, because this podcast has a professional sound. Now, granted, we are not out in a studio. We're literally outside, out in the field, as it were. And so, you know, you do hear things like canes, and you do hear things like cars, and neighbors, or whatever the case may be. You do. Whereas in a professional soundproof studio, you don't get any of that. But the audio that you hear, in terms of my voice, it's always top notch. It's always right there, front and center. And so, for the most part, we have a professional audio setup. And the thing is, with this podcast, I have not spent a single dime on this podcast. I never have, and I never will. And so, when people ask, well, how do you get this? How do you get that? They're astounded to find out that it's 100% free to upload to creators for Spotify. It is 100% free to take your RSS feed, which is given to you free by Spotify. Take that RSS feed and then feed it to services like iTunes or iHeart or Apple Podcasts, and they're astounded to find out that that doesn't cost a dime. And that's essentially what we've done here at the Brother Timothy Clark podcast, is we've not spent a single dime. I've just done the legwork essentially and got the podcast into these outlets. So that is essentially the breakdown of how we do what we do here at the podcast, the costs associated with it, the production side of it, the distribution side of it. And hey, if you have any more questions, get in touch either via email, TimothyClarkMusic@me.com. Once again, TimothyClarkMusic@me.com. Website address is TimothyClarkMusic.wordpress.com. Once again, TimothyClarkMusic.wordpress.com. Of course, you can always reach out via YouTube or Spotify, and I will get your comments on either one of those platforms. And I will respond accordingly on both platforms. Additionally, if you contact me via any of the social media platforms that are up on my website, I will respond there. And that's about it. So thanks to Megan for the question. And I hope that those of you who hear this, maybe you'll be inspired to send in your own question. And maybe I will break it down and create another podcast episode based upon your question.